Thank you, Andy. What a lovely opening. Welcome, everyone. We're really glad you're here at Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living, and we're very happy to have our people joining us on YouTube. Everyone is welcome. We're very glad you're here. This is the place where we teach people how to change their thinking so that they can transform their lives. This is what we do. This is what we're about, and we're so glad to be here and glad you're here with us. And the first thing we're going to do is rise and sing this wonderful congregational song, "This Little Light of Mine."
Good morning, everyone. And we're welcoming up Tina Meeks, our guest singer today. Hooray!
That's 1, 2, 1, 2.
Hi, everyone. Okay, so sing it like Tina sings, okay?
Okay. We're singing like you sing.
Here.
This
Little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine. Everyone, shine, shine. Oh, shine, shine. Now, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine.
everywhere you go.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. I'm gonna let it shine, shine. Everybody, shine, shine.
Are you gonna
Shine, 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 shine. This little light of mine,
come on, everybody?
I'm gonna let it shine.
Let it shine, let it shine.
Little light of mine,
Oh,
I'm gonna let it shine.
oh,
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine. Gonna let it shine, shine.
I want to see you shine.
Shine, shine, everybody. Shine, shine.
Everybody got
Shine, shine. Shine, shine.
we're gonna shine.
Shine, shine. Now we're awake. Now we're awake. Thank you.
Let it shine. Isn't that a wonderful concept that everywhere we go, that smile on our face allows us to shine? So let's just take a moment and allow ourselves to breathe in a quiet moment, a slow, quiet breath, which absolutely slows down the mind. Our bodies respond in that way. And so as I breathe in and know that I have a light to shine, it is that power of light. It is that power of spirit within me that shines. It's always shining, and I allow it to shine through me in a way that makes people glad. It is a gift that I have, and it is a gift that I share. And what I know is in this moment, and in the moments to come, there are many more wonderful things that come to me, through me, as me, from the music, from the people that I talk to, from the messages, from all of the atmosphere and consciousness that this center is. And so I allow myself to just wash in all the goodness there is. knowing that it moves through me in a way that is absolutely good and very good. So with deep joy, I simply release and say, and so it is. And so it is. So much gratitude. And so we are going to have the announcement with the wonderful Katie Frankel. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning to my Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living family here in the sanctuary. Hi, y'all, looking good, and hi to everyone on the YouTube channel. Today's speaker is our interim director, Reverend Catherine McKinney. And also today is Drumming Circle at 12:30 in Richelieu Hall. Even if you've never been to Drumming Circle, please drop by and participate in this rhythmic experience for the soul. Some announcements for this week. Tomorrow, our balance class continues until February 6th. This is from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. in Richelieu Hall, and the fee is $10 per class. Our class purpose is for participants to gain an increased awareness of fall risk factors, an understanding of corrective measures, and improvement in their flexibility, strength, balance, and coordination. This is hosted by our own Monica Ruth, drawing on her background in physical therapy, and Dana Lemieux on her background as a yoga teacher. Continuing into the week, on Tuesday, January 10th at 10 a.m., our Saucy Aussie Reverend Kathy has her in-person book reading continues. The book is The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. Also on Tuesday at 11, we're going to get downward dog with a yoga class. Bring your mat. The cost is $10. It's 11 a.m. on Tuesday. And Wednesdays, the book reading continues. This is on Zoom, so our YouTube friends can join us. We're still reading Learn to Live by Irvin Seal. Please email the office for a Zoom link on this. And of course, on Wednesday, we also have our service, just like this one, Wednesday at 11 a.m. And our speaker is once again Reverend Catherine McKinney. Looking ahead, January 30th through April 4th, this is the season for nonviolence, which is dedicated to demonstrating that nonviolence is a powerful way to heal, transform, and empower our lives and communities. Inspired by the 50th and 30th memorial anniversaries of Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., this international event honors their vision for an empowered, nonviolent world. There are copies of the 64 days available at the front desk, and for me, this is particularly important as I wake up and see these awful news that's unfolding here in Monterey Park, and we think about, feeling so helpless, and what can we do just ourselves to promote a community of nonviolence. Picking up a copy of this is something that I will do to practice on my own to feel maybe a little bit less helpless. February is our Bears of Love month, and this is the time when we bring bears into the sanctuary to get cuddled and filled with love. We pass them on to the wonderful organization called My Stuff Bags Foundation, and we give them to children all over America who are going through a challenging time. They have these bears to hug throughout the year. So please bring in a middle-sized bear, okay, not like a giant one, and we'll pass them on to the children. We're collecting them now through the end of February. Thursday, February 2nd, will be our spiritual discussion group at 2 p.m. This is held right out there in the foyer. And then our Labyrinth Walk is at 3:30. Please check out our program for information. Little reminder, you guys, we have our Science of Mind Sunday class where we explore the Science of Mind textbook. This is every Sunday in Richelieu Hall from 10:15 to 10:45. Annual membership. Reminder for those members who haven't paid their membership fees for 2023, the fees are $35 and entitle you to a discount on classes and a 10% discount on everything we have in the bookstore. These fees go to our main organization and help defray the cost of curriculum for our classes at our center. For your convenience, you can pay your membership today at the front desk. We take this moment to remind you there are several ways you can donate to our center. We appreciate your presence today, and we thank you so much for your messages and financial contributions to our center. You can sign up for Amazon Smile as well, naming the center as a beneficiary. Thank you guys for considering that. Right now, also, just a big thank you to our wonderful volunteers and Doris as well for her help coordinating these announcements. We appreciate everyone so much. And now we welcome back our singer today, Miss Tina Meeks.
Good morning. The song that I'm singing is written by Indy Ari, wonderful songwriter.
I met a prophet as dark as the night. She could see into my soul, said she'd been watching and had some advice. She said shadows make you whole, a life without pain is a wolf in sheep's clothes. So if you listen to the message that it holds, you'll find the gold. Child, it's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside of yourself. You cannot fly until you break the shell. I can remember when I was a child, how the grown folks seemed so crazy. Why are they so angry? Why are they so loud? And when I grow up, that's never gonna be me. That was the moment that I decided that I would build a wall just shy of 6 feet tall, too strong to fall. Well, now, child, it's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside of yourself. You cannot fly until you break the shell. it's time to peel back all of the layers you put between who you're meant to be and who you are. Just be who you are. Child, so much disappointment to finally understand that there's no such thing as perfect. We're all simply doing the best that we can. And when we find that it's our choice to live or truly be alive, just go live your life, 'cause it's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside of yourself. You cannot fly until you break the shell. It's time to break the shell. Life's gonna hurt, but it's meant to be felt. You cannot touch the sky from inside of yourself. A bird cannot fly until it breaks the shell. Do with these words what you will. Now it's time to be for real. You'll be stuck on the ground until you finally break the shell.
Thanks, Tina. I'm such a fan. And we just had a sermon in a song. I'm grateful for that. Something's come between us. So I want to share 5 little stories with you. They can be argued about, but stick with it. Once all the residents of a small village decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one little boy came with an umbrella. That's faith. When you throw babies in the air, they laugh because they know you'll catch them. That's trust. Every night we go to bed without any assurance of being alive the next morning, but we still set the alarm to wake us up. That's hope. We plan big things for tomorrow in spite of zero knowledge of the future, and that is confidence. We see the world suffering, but we still get married and have children, and that's love. And on an elderly man's shirt was written a sentence, "I'm not 80 years old. I'm the sweet 16 with 64 years experience." That's attitude. These are fun examples of invisible attributes. And spiritual laws are not easily seen either, but as Reverend Catherine's talk title infers, we learn them by actually doing things and learning from them, if we're willing to learn. We use the first few weeks of the year to go through the first 4 chapters of the textbook. We name them differently, but they're essentially the thing itself, the way it works, what it does, and how to use it. And the talks, have a different name, but we're trying to be sneaky and novel. I've sometimes felt that chapter 4 of the text, it could be retitled, How to Use It Intelligently. Yep, the good news, the bad news, depending on how your life is going, is that you're already using it. It takes a while to sink in. It brings everything into our lives that we believe in our core. How we refer to what happens to us in life, as well as what we think about all day long. Remember, our thoughts are prayers. And if we truly get that, then we understand how our lives can be focused, free, and self-directed. So the question best asked is not, how do I use it? How am I using it? It's not a matter of choosing whether or not to use it. We only know as much as we can prove by actual demonstration. Sometimes we take a lifetime to learn a lesson, and other times we learn lessons very quickly. You can say you choose not to believe or use the law of gravity, but that's not going to help you when you lean too far to the side on a very tall ladder, cleaning out the gutters. Even if you do scream as you're descending, I don't believe or use the law of gravity. It works. Our commitment to this teaching, called religious science, is evidenced in the way we live our lives, how we direct our thoughts, how we use it. As we learn by doing, let's be grateful for all those lessons, the joyful ones as well as the tough ones. It's our choice to learn by doing. So let's look at how we use this great teaching to live the life that resonates with what we think will fulfill and delight us. So affirm with me, here I am, world. Open and receptive to all the wonderful things that life has to offer. And so it is. So when we do this next little prayer, think about the words that we're saying, because they're just so potent. Thank you, everyone.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
I think it's so wonderful that we've already had such wonderful messages. We've had messages from Tina. We've had messages from Reverend Kathy. And of course, this wonderful song. And the topic today is learn by doing, and we're actually doing it, aren't we? I really love the month of January in that we return to what we call the basics of science of mind. And we go through those first 4 sections. And I'm repeating myself when I say those first 4 sections were added to the science of mind 11 years after The textbook was published in 1927. So when you see it in your textbook, it's the 1938 edition. So there was something very important about those first 4 sections to Ernest Holmes and to all the leaders. They had spent the intervening years teaching from that first book. And so for whatever reason, I like to think they wanted more clarity about these basic ideas. But for whatever reason, they put the sections in, and then we get to chapter 1, but they put the sections in, and I can tell you that all of the information that's in the first 4 sections is found in other parts of the book. But in the first 4 sections, it's very, very straightforward. The first one, of course, is the thing itself, and it talks about the one power. The thing itself, God, source, nature, there are many names for it. And Ernest Holmes chooses to call it the thing itself, and enabling it to put a light on that. And what is important about that is that we know that there's one power, there's one creation, and that God is fully present in all of creation, just as much present in a rock in Afghanistan as in me and is in you. Now, the degree to which we express and respond is different, but we'll circle back to that. It is important to know that God is up there and out there, but it's also right here. And that's the most important thing for us to keep in our own lives. And the second section, the way it works, is essentially summarized by, it works for me by working through me. In other words, there is this power that's all out there, but it's how I use the power. And Kathy talked about that, Reverend Kathy talked about this in her lesson. It's up to me to choose how to use it. And yes, as she said, we're always using it. It's how we're using it, and are we using it consciously is what we pay attention to. It works for me by working through me. And then the third section, what it does is actually essentially a summary of those first 2. It's bringing those 2 things together, and then that brings us to how to use it. And Ernest Holmes, I don't know, when I read some of the parts of it, I almost feel his frustration, if you will, that he's saying we can proclaim the principle till we're hoarse, but until we can embody that principle, we've not used it. We've not done that. And he goes on to say in different ways that it comes to us as we take part in that. And so that's one of the things, essentially, that part 1 of that how to use it that we're talking about today. Now, when we have an issue, let's say it's a particular issue that we want to deal with, we're saying that you take a principle of science of mind and apply it to the principle. And you find a way to do that. But if we just say, I am whole, perfect, and complete, you're whole, perfect, and complete, how does that make you feel? Are you curious? Are you confused? Do you go, I don't know? And what we're talking about in applying is to get very specific about the thing that you want to have different in your life. How you want to use the science of mind is to do what? And then proclaim that. There are a lot of ways to do it. I mean, science of mind treatment addresses what is going on in your life. And you may also set up some very specific affirmations that affirm what you want in your life. And you may get some help with that with a practitioner to help you see through some of that. What is the principle that I want to use and apply it to my life? Those are ways to use it. There's another idea involved in that, though. is that when I say you're perfect, what is your next thought? Are you thinking, well, I know how I'm perfect this way? Or am I next thinking, well, I'm really not so perfect? Again, the Reverend Kathy talked about this in her lesson as well. See, there is the idea that the absolute is absolutely true. And the absolute says, I am whole, I am perfect, and I am complete in my spiritual self. And then, as they say, I get up in the morning. I go out into the world and I mix with things, or I get a diagnosis, or I've had a financial reversal. What do I do? How do I apply that principle? And that's the how to use it part. And I sense, as I said, Ernest Holmes' frustration because he feels that the principle is so clear and yet there's all this confusion. So let's talk about how we do that. He even specifically says, I can go around, you can go around proclaiming there is no sickness, there is no poverty. But if you look, you realize, well, there is sickness, and there are people who don't have enough. So what's wrong with that? And then he explains that we can only apply a principle to the degree that we embody the principle. Another way of saying this, I can only apply the principle according to my belief. You might say faith, you might say trust. Another way I like to think of it is that we can only embody a principle to our degree that we actually understand it. Understanding, to me, is where I want to be. You know, when Tina was singing her song, and she talked about breaking the shell. And actually, I was thinking about that shell is exactly what I'm talking about. I hadn't thought of it as a shell. See, we have limited understanding about a lot of things. When I was in high school and college, this is an entirely different, non-spiritual thing, mathematics was taught in a certain way. And it was taught, for example, very basic mathematics in high school, and it was college that we learned about calculus. I was a math major, and I didn't even know about it till I got to college. However, my brothers were coming along a few years after me. They took calculus in high school. So what changed? I don't think it's necessarily the ability of the students. I think the teachers and the planners were limited by their own understanding of what needed to get done. And so you push forward into present times, our teenagers are breaking barriers that we had, invisible perhaps, when we were in high school and sometimes even in college, because the limits have just come off. We realize I just didn't understand what I could do. I didn't understand that those weren't really limits. They were just what I thought they were. I mean, think about, too, the idea of the learning to fly and to be able to fly. Man has wanted to fly forever, always wanted to fly. But he's watched the birds, they fly, but I can't fly. And that was a belief. And it was supported by everything around him. And then, when the first people did get flight, we think of it as Kitty Hawk and the Wright brothers, that changed the consciousness. Now we know that it's possible. So then lots of people start working on that, and things started to change. And the same thing with the 4-minute mile. There was this consciousness that said nobody can run faster than a 4-minute mile, a mile in 4 minutes. Well, until Roger Bannister broke the 4-minute mile, then so many people started doing it, because the understanding had increased. Once we know something is possible, if it's possible for this person, it's possible for me. But we are limited by our understanding of any one thing, most especially ourselves. And when we react to certain things, and we may see this if you're on social media at all, you see people reacting to things in a certain way, lacking understanding of the situation that could have had this particular thing in mind. We are all like that. I'm not judging what somebody else has done. What I'm realizing is that it affirms exactly my own understanding that I am always limited by understanding. I had an experience many years ago. I was teaching at a university in Florida, and I had taught math before, but at this point I was teaching humanities courses and communication. And this young man who I'd had in class before, he was a very gifted student. He was just so capable, but he was making B's in my class, and he was an A student. So one time I just said, "Why aren't you putting more into this?" And he said, "Well, my professor told me I wouldn't need this in my job." He was in an engineering program. So he didn't put the limits on him, but his instructor put the limits on him and affected his belief. That isn't true. And at some point in his career, if he doesn't develop a skill of being able to stand in front of people and communicate what you want to say, well, we'll hold him back. But clearly, in that moment, I was not the one who was going to win the day. So I didn't argue with him. He was limited by his understanding, and I was even limited in my own understanding of how big a picture that was. I've grown in that experience. So the idea of growing our understanding, to me, is part of the idea that I can put a principle into practice in what way. So to me, how to use it has a part two. Ernest Holmes also says, when you take a wound to spirit to heal, let us go with thanksgiving, with gratitude. Gratitude is very important to me, and again, I think I'm repeating myself when I say that. But it's part of this spiritual mind treatment for sure, that I'm grateful for the thing that I'm treating for, that it is so. But bringing it into your practice is what I'm talking about. And I know right now, in this week and in last week and in this week to come, I am practicing being grateful for something that doesn't happen until next Saturday. I am grateful for the practitioner seminar that is in this room in Richelieu Hall next Saturday that is a vigorous success. And I'm doing it many times a day, but I especially do it in my gratitude journal at night. And that's part of the part two, that you're just grateful for what you want to see in your life as if it is already accomplished. And that is a separate practice. It's affirming things, but it's also stepping into gratitude. And the other thing that in my gratitude practice, because there are days when things don't go as well as others, and so how do I address that in my gratitude journal as I'm about to go to sleep? Well, I will tell you that I sit there with it until I can find something to be grateful for in that experience. The principle is good comes from everything when you know it comes from everything. So putting that principle into words of gratitude is exactly how to deal with the things that come up in a way that helps me embody the principle. Good comes from everything. And that I can know that my life and my life experiences turn out in the highest and best way. And it's more than an affirmation. It is a practice and knowing that gratitude. There's something about gratitude that moves you outside of yourself, that allows you to step into another experience. I do think that gratitude, in the sense that you're recognizing what other people are doing and finding a way to acknowledge the gratitude for what they're doing that is bringing good into their lives, to make more than one life. It is also a practice of appreciating in a larger sense. Now, I wonder if all of it doesn't work because we just spend more time on the affirmative side of life, which is what pays dividends for all of us. That's how we learn to embody the principle. Yes, we have to be able to articulate the principle. That's absolutely true. But I can know that I have vigorous health. I can know that I have lavish prosperity. And I can know that for myself in ways that I don't always know how it's coming to me, because that's never up to me. That's always up to the law that is always working. Because what is true is that the way it works is that I am always embodying I'm always working with the law. I'm always choosing. But by staying on that affirmative side of life, we're choosing, as Reverend Kathy said, intelligently, but we're also choosing consciously, as opposed to allowing the subconscious feelings that we may not even know we have, the subconscious beliefs we may not even know we have, jerk us into some response that is not the way we want it to be. So by affirmatively practicing embodying the principle with science of mind treatment, and you will have practitioners here today that will be able to assist with that, with science of mind treatment, formulating your own way to say in an affirmative way, this is what I know for myself. Very specific. And being grateful for all of it. Being grateful in advance. Being grateful for all of the things you want to see, not just in your own life, but in those that you care about. It is an active teaching. That's what this is. And so I'm really energized by the idea that we can all do this. And so as we move into this learn by doing, the doing is going to be informed, it's going to be steeped in gratitude, it's going to be knowing that good comes from everything, and it's knowing that we live in a world that I know I can participate in to the highest ability that I imagine, and it grows every day in my imagination. And so that is what I think is how it works for our good and works for us. We learn by actually doing it. And I think Ernest Holmes approves. So I invite you to go within just a moment. What I know for sure is that there are words, there are ideas, that are feelings that come from the notion of the way science of mind works, the way this teaching works, that moves through my own thinking, my own intelligence, uniquely in me and in everyone else. And I know there is something in this that moves me and that makes me want to reach out for all of the good things that I know are already mine when I claim them. So I move into even more gratitude as I know that the creative process hears my word and my intention and brings it into my life experience as I say, and so it is. And so it is. Thank you. If the ushers would come down, we are going to begin our offering. So let us share the offering as prayer as we say, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. This is where we also share our mission statement, and it is to honor your presence, to nurture your spirit, and to enrich the life of all we serve. And I want to share with you this note. I am writing to congratulate everyone on a beautiful Christmas Eve service, full of inspiration and the celebration of light in all the ways, and it was well expressed. I also appreciated the quiet time for candle blessings and seeing that everyone in the room was able to participate. Thank you for keeping this center vibrant and well managed. The center had a successful year, and so it is, and thank you. Now I would like to invite up the wonderful, the incomparable Tina Meeks, who's going to give us another lesson.
Test 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if I can get this right. All right. Let me just start in, Andy. Hey, come on, everybody. Yeah. Oh, you gotta think of your fellow man. Give him a helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. Hey, oh, I think it's getting late, so please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see, yeah. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know, we won't let hatred show. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. You just wait and see. Oh, if you take a look around, you'll see. Put the hatred down, put a little love in your heart. We want the world to know we won't let hatred show. We're gonna put a little love in our hearts, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for who? For you and me, and me. You just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Come on, everybody, put it in. Put a little love in your heart. We're gonna put a little love, put a little love, put a little love in your heart. Stand up, everybody. Come on, let's put it. Put a little love. Stand up. Put a little love. Let's shout. Put a little love in your heart.
Thank you, Tina. Oh my gosh, that was just amazing. Just another lesson in how to be. Thank you so much. And Andy. Andy, thank you for he is our music director, and he puts all of our music program together in such a lovely way. Thank you. Before I move to a next thing that's quite important, I've had two little things floating out here that I've determined that I was going to remember to put here in this moment. With apologies to Katie Frankel, there are a couple of things in the announcements I wanted to adjust. They were late-breaking things that happened at the end of the week, and so I need to adjust them. Number one, the speaker this Wednesday is not me. It is Reverend Valerie Reeves. And yes, that's wonderful. Number two, that Amazon Smile program that we participated in for a very long time is ending in February. And I just read it near the end of the week. So there are some explanations, but the truth is that's what's happening. So signing up for it now might not be what you're going to spend your energy doing. So those are the two things that I'm thinking of. But the other thing that happened last weekend that I wanted to acknowledge, and so I am asking the speaker to come all the way down here to talk about winter camp. Many teens all over went to winter camp this year, and the teen that was going to speak woke up with an ouchie this morning, and so she's passed the baton to Maureen, the leader.
Hello. Yes, so this past weekend, Martin Luther King Day Jr.'s birthday weekend, there were 3 camps, winter camps, that happened all over the country. There was one here in Southern California, up in the mountains of Idlewild. There was one at the campsite that we just bought up in Oregon, and there was one in Colorado. And those set of camps were only the second time that we have met in person since January of 2020. So as you can imagine, there was some little wrinkle still, but from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank every single person in this room for supporting the teens who got to go to camp and got to have more life-changing experiences, and all of the teens from here that went actually got up and spoke, and there are some that would have never done that before going to teen camp. So again, I just want to thank all of you for your support, and however you are able to do that, because you may not truly know and understand how much the teens love camp and how much it actually impacts their lives in so many ways for the better. And so I sound like a broken record, but I'll keep saying it. I want to thank all of you for supporting them at their bake sales, for just giving anonymous donations, for all of the ways that you do, because it means the world to them, and they adore camp. So, and I know I have some parents in the audience who have teens that went to camp at one point, and they can also attest that this is, yes, Tina Meeks has 2 children that were there, and I'll say they both had the time of their lives. So again, it is truly an amazing experience. So again, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Maureen, for sharing that, because it is important for you to understand how much your dollars and your encouragement, really, your enthusiasm for what they do, what a difference that it does make. As Katie referred in her announcements, it is true that lots of things are going on in the world that distract us and can pull us down. And I love her suggestion about picking up a copy of the 64 Ways. It's an affirmation a day for the 64 days between Martin Luther King's birthday and Mahatma Gandhi's later on. And so we support this movement, and we invite you to join in whatever way that you will. But for now, we are going to say our blessing. And please consider the words as you say them, because it does matter how much you put yourself into it, how much conscious ideas and that you are embodying as you say these words. I know divine love enfolds me. Divine light leads me. Divine life lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me. And divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life and expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days with grace and ease, in grace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and deep gratitude, I know for all life. There is only God. There is only God. There is only God. And so it is. So in affirming that, let's rise for the peace song and know that peace and all of the wonderful things does begin with me.